got to look at why did these scandals happen, right? So in the most simplistic form, cryptocurrency is so new that the lawmakers have not decided how to regulate it yet, right? So if you understand politics to at least some degree, we all know that politicians can be a little greedy. They can be trying to figure out how they can get some money off of it. So a couple of the things that's happening in cryptocurrency is like it's this new thing that is away from the system. So this new financial system and technology had emerged outside of any of the government fiat systems, right? So the US didn't create it, Russia didn't create it, China didn't create it. It was created by this Satoshi Nakamoto, who is this anonymous figure, which there is a bunch of conspiracy theories about who that is or who it may be. I have no idea. My only thought is like, probably some government was behind it or some elite people. I don't know. But this happened. And with this being created in its own system, it was this living and breathing, not literally, but kind of financial organism growing. And it had gotten so large, but the countries and the governments haven't decided how do we want to regulate it, right? Think of it this way. With your normal check, you go to work, whatever state you live in, whatever state, and then you got your federal taxes or whatever. The government has decided how much you're taxed, which tax bracket you're in, right? And some of us are in this system and don't. I bet there's people watching this, and no offense, you might not even know what tax bracket do I fall in. What is my percentage? If I have some capital gains outside of my normal job, right? Like a lot of us don't know how to do that, or we're learning, or have learned recently. That's okay if you're in that position. But my point is, the rules and guidelines have been set out for your employer. So when you go to work, you know how many taxes are coming out. Now imagine this world in crypto where that has not yet been defined. And the US in particular has been dragging their feet on exactly how they want to do it. Now you could come up with all of your reasons or theories on why they're dragging their feet, but I'm only just dealing with the fact that they have dragged their feet. And when there is something that is not regulated, you will always have shady figures that are doing things outside of the box to try to make the most money because they're greedy. So some people over leverage their liquidity, like they didn't have enough money to back up the loans and things they were taking out or covering. And essentially what happened, as we're kind of in this conversation about the debt ceiling and inflation and the macroeconomic situation in the world, even if you don't know what all these terms mean, what you do know is that like the world is kind of messed up economically right now, and politicians and lawmakers themselves don't necessarily know how to get to the end or resolve these things. So crypto as an unregulated industry is something that had been affected negatively during this process. Now, what that means for a lot of people is that if you take some multi-billion-dollar companies, it means that they are not yet, they don't yet know. Fortune 500 companies don't know how to leverage NFTs yet. They don't know how to get involved with crypto yet. And they want to see the government set rules and guidelines before they invest their money or time. Now, that doesn't mean they haven't invested in the crypto organizations. Behind the scenes, there have been a lot of partnerships. We'll talk through some of that. But what it means is that you haven't seen this influx of money out there. There are trillions of dollars out there for investing in assets. When you look at different industries like, gold and stocks and things like that. As an example, Apple, we'll look at Apple. Apple is a multi-trillion-dollar company, and crypto itself is probably only 1 trillion. So you have this baby that is getting bigger, but people, imagine a child that's 5 years old and nobody know how to raise it. It hasn't been trained yet. Everybody like, oh, stay away from little Bud, because little Bud, he 5 years old, but he'll cuss you out because he hasn't been trained right. So my point is, when the government set some regulations and some guidelines around cryptocurrency, then you will see an influx of people likely to come in and invest at a larger scale. But here is the reason that I'm doing this video today. D. Riley, what up? DR Speaks. How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Thank you for checking out the show. One of the things that happens, that you'll see happen again is that people will kind of influx and get more involved. But here's why I'm doing this show. It is because while things are down, I believe that the structure, the bones of the foundation is being laid. And this is how the rich always get richer. The rich get richer because they are involved in early stages, or people who generate wealth are typically involved in an early stage of any process. Think about it this way. Savannah James is married to LeBron. LeBron is one of the richest athletes in the world. Well, Savannah didn't wait until LeBron was in his third year in the NBA to try to like him. Savannah met LeBron before he was the LeBron that we know. And if you have ever read into their story at all, you will understand that she was one of the few people, even in his high school days, when she met him, like, who are you? And was not that impressed with who he was. And I'm led to believe, I don't know nothing about these people, if they have a good marriage or not. This is just an example that comes to mind of, like, I'm led to believe, though, that someone like LeBron can be with a Savannah. They can be married all these years because they found each other before they blew up. Much harder to find someone after you successful, got money. That's why you see a lot of single successful people. So let's take this same theory and relate it to business, and the fact that as it relates to investing and building any business, it is the early adopters and investors who are going to have the greatest returns in the long run. So this is why I'm trying to take a look at this and at least understand it now. All right. So I laid out why you might think cryptocurrency is a scam. Cool. Now I'm gonna make my point, give you 3 quick reasons for why I don't believe cryptocurrency is a scam. To give you just a little background, I've been involved in cryptocurrency since 2017, was when I was first introduced to it. Really did not know what I was doing at all, if I'm being honest. So I had learned by way of making mistakes, but I'm a person that likes to pick up things and understand and deconstruct them, like the nuts and bolts of like what's going on. So between, from 2017, 2018, I put a little bit of money, like I'm talking like a little bit of money. I don't have to get into amounts, but pretty much that went 90% down. I kept the money in there, but walked away. And then 2 years later in 2020-ish, 2020, 3 years ago, I happened to see some stuff on the news. I'm like, oh, Bitcoin is back. I looked and I made all my 90% that I had lost. It was all back there. And it was there since that day. I've been studying for the last 3 years. I put hundreds of hours into understanding this, been studying, investing, really looking into the nuts and bolts, following the partnerships almost every day for a matter of 3 years. And so I'm just trying to share a little bit of that knowledge. I don't claim to be an expert. I'm just a regular person who has picked up something and is learning, continuing to learn it, and trying to give back to the people that are connected to me in any kind of way, so that people don't miss out on these opportunities should they see it as an opportunity to be involved in. So that's my involvement in cryptocurrency. And, I've really kind of, in the last couple of years, I've done private sessions and sat with people and kind of taught them and laid out with several different groups of people, individuals. I've done all kind of little financial settings and sessions rather, and walk people through. So that's just so you at least understand, like, why would I listen to this guy and what he's talking about with cryptocurrency? What does he know? Not that I'm some expert, not that I'm some guru, but just that I am a regular person that has put in hundreds of hours and have sat with people and kind of put in the time to like lay out exactly what this is. And I've also lost money, made money, and kind of seen how